Where do I get driver updates? Where to find them and places to avoid. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom for askleo.com. I was a software engineer at Microsoft for 18 years, and now since 2003 I've been answering your tech questions and sharing my tech opinions out at askleo.com. I want to read you the question that led to this video. Quote, I downloaded 3 separate check drivers programs. Each program identified 7 drivers as being outdated. However, my device manager says they're okay. It's been very difficult to find the drivers, and if they are outdated, I will have to purchase one of the driver programs. Do I need to update these drivers? If so, how do I find the sites to download them? So Device Manager itself will not tell you whether or not a device driver is out of date. All it will do is tell you whether or not something is working, and as we'll see towards the end of this video, it's actually not very good at that either. Let's quickly review just what a driver is. Drivers is short for device driver. A device driver is the software that knows how to deal with specific hardware. It acts as an interface between Windows, which actually knows very little about hardware, and the hardware itself. So, for example, there is a device driver for your mouse that understands how your specific mouse operates. There's a device driver for your keyboard. There's a device driver for USB ports. There's a device driver for just about every piece of hardware that's connected to your machine. What's important to understand about drivers is that they are software. They are specific to the hardware for which they're designed, and like any software, they can have bugs and vulnerabilities. Is a driver out of date? Unfortunately, there really isn't a good way to determine whether or not a device driver is out of date. If drivers were installed with Windows, the answer is actually pretty simple. Keep running Microsoft Windows Update, and if they need updating, they will be updated. It's pretty simple. There are third-party tools that will scan your system and claim to tell you which device drivers you have happen to be out of date. Unfortunately, those that actually do what they promise often then will ask you to pay in order for them to update the device drivers they've identified as needing updating. Those that don't live up to their reputation or live up to their promise actually don't do a thing. They just charge you money, or worse, screw up your system. So I definitely recommend avoiding that entire class of scanning tools. That class of tools, while there might be some that are worthwhile and work legitimately, that class of tools has just such a bad reputation, and ultimately it's not necessary. Unlike most of the rest of the software on your system, I ignore drivers. I rarely actually go out and take a look for specific updates to specific drivers. My theory is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If your hardware is working, you don't need to be playing around going and looking outside of Windows Update for additional drivers update. The vast majority of the drivers on your system are in fact handled by Windows Update. There's really nothing more you need do. Drivers that aren't handled by Windows Update, well, they actually tend to serve such a small cross-section of hardware, specific hardware, that malware authors actually don't have much of a point trying to target them for malicious behavior. So it really does boil down to, again, if it's working, it's probably just fine. If it's not working, though, then when it comes time to diagnose a hardware problem, then you might consider trying to update the driver if it's not being updated with Microsoft Update. Where do you do that? I send you to one place and one place only, and that is the manufacturer of the hardware that you're having a problem with. That's the only place. It's the canonical place. It's the right place to get the updates for the drivers for your hardware. So in short, Windows Update first, unless you're having a problem that Windows Update isn't solving with your hardware, in which case going directly to the hardware manufacturer is the place to go. Now, I mentioned earlier that Device Manager, well, it lies. I want to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to fire up Windows here, and when we take a look, we'll right-click on the Start menu and bring up Device Manager. You can see that it lists an assortment of hardware on this machine. I'll go ahead and just hit keyboards, for example, and we'll see that I have a standard PS2 keyboard connected to this machine. If I right-click on it, I get the option, of course, to update the driver, which is something I might do if I were manually updating drivers. I can uninstall the driver, which is sometimes a diagnostic technique to force Windows to update the driver again. Scanning for hardware changes. Normally this happens without needing to do it anymore, but originally it was the universal plug-and-play item that would notice that hardware had changed and then do the right thing with respect to updating drivers. And then there's properties. Properties is interesting because, as you can see, it says that the device is working properly. Unfortunately, that does not mean that the device is working properly. What it means is that Windows can talk to the device driver. That's it. It does not mean that the hardware itself is actually functional. It could be completely broken. It could be completely unresponsive. It could be kind of quirky. It could be having issues. The device manager will still report that device as working properly only because device manager and Windows itself is able to communicate with the device driver. So don't rely on that as a diagnosis of whether or not the device is working. For that, you actually need to, well, use the device and see if it's working. For links related to the article on which this video is based, or to leave a comment on that article, visit askleo.com/4487. Of course, you're very welcome to leave a comment on this video on YouTube. While you're here, hit the subscribe button, click the like button. That helps YouTube know you found this video useful and helps others get their questions answered by being shown Ask Leo videos when they search for help. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.